That's right.
No offense to you, don't waste your time.
Here's why. February 25th, 2014. Attitude of gratitude. What you happy about, family? Woo. First, I give thanks for the creative source of this universe, and I give thanks to my mother, Shirley Hardy, the elder in my life. Thank you for joining us and sharing with us how you are moving from disease care to conscious self-health care. Call in and share about the provider that is assisting you on this journey to total wellness. We wish to honor your walk from the old belief system of disease treatment for correcting your cellular malfunctions. You know, family and community, it is not selfish to honor yourself, love yourself, put yourself first. By all means, take care of yourself and make your happiness a priority. It's time to connect with the vibration of happiness, because being healthy starts with being happy. And those who are happy are much, much healthier. Greetings to you all in love and kindness. Thank you for tuning in via the internet and through our conference line, and for sharing the good news from this show with all your family and friends. And we want to thank our new listeners that are listening in, and we want to thank Ty Gray L, the breath of my ancestors. His inaugural show was tonight. Very funny with our sister Sylvia Traymore. Thank y'all for tuning for Heart to Heart Healthy Living with Dr. K. We are on the airwaves of Inner Light Radio, the healing frequency, and this is a live broadcast. You can email questions or comments to innerlightradio@yahoo.com, innerlightradio@yahoo.com, or you can Facebook Brother Jamal with comments or questions. You can call in and share 310-928-7733. That's 310-928-7733. Now we ask that you mute your phones because you are entering a live chat room. And I will invite you to join the conversation by your phone number or your Skype name. So once again, we welcome you to the conscious checkpoint. For you, it just might be a choice point. Now it's time to check the pulse of your thoughts, your consciousness, and your actions. My regular friends joining me in the chat room are Rachel Pope, Blessings Flow Empire from Waldorf, Maryland; Wanda K. Whitaker, anchored in spirit, Pacifica, California. And once again, I'm Dr. Karen Khadijah Davis-Foulks, broadcasting live from Washington, D.C. Our special guest joining us in the chat room is Manifest Ra. He is the founder of Manifest Entertainment and the Universal Love Movement. So family and community, the truth of the matter is life is consciousness, and healing is all about consciousness, and health is about consciousness as well. We are here assisting each other with information so that we can make conscious self-health care moves when making a choice. We're talking about mental observation view is essential for your success. Thank you for joining us on Heart to Heart Healthy Living with Dr. K. We are continuing our series on Black males' health, and tonight's conversation with Manifest Ra is centered around the mental equivalent. We're talking about the universe is mental, and how do you see the universe, and how do you see yourself? So once again, welcome to Heart Healthy Living. Wanda, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Karen. I'm so happy to have Manifest Raw in the house. You know, every time he walks into a room, he lights up the whole house with his vibration. You can feel his vibration when he enters the room. So I'm so happy to have him here. And maybe he can tell us, too, what is meant by his name, Manifest Raw. I'd like to hear that.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. When we bring him on, I'm sure that's how he will introduce himself, because I'm sure going to let him do that. And you're right. And the thing about frequencies and vibrations, you can feel it. You can feel it right over the airways. You can sit back and just feel this vibration here, because that's exactly what we're talking about. The frequency light beings that we are. And that's the focus that we should consider over the matter. But we're going to share that as we go along in this conversation. And we're also talking about black males' health and them taking better care of themselves. But Rachel, how are you doing today?
Oh, I am so centered and focused and accomplishing things. So I'm pretty sure you can hear it in my voice.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy of this video. And this is from the celebration, that launching that we had with you guys in it. So I can't wait to put it out on YouTube and Facebook. So it'll be this week.
Wow, that's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And you know, Sylvia Trey was on Todd's show, and I know y'all were friends.
Yes, we are. So I'm sorry that I missed that, but I'm going to follow up with it so I can hear that. So I know it was fun.
I know it was. So yes, we're going to be having a wonderful conversation tonight. We're going to be talking about young males' health, as we have done throughout this month. We have talked to Tim Morrow of the University of Common Sense, 80 years old, with his saying, growing old don't make us sick. It's being sick that make us grow old. And when we understand that, we would definitely start using mind over matter. We also had John S. Black. He is the recipient of the Dr. Nathaniel Kane Self-Care Award that's given out during the Emancipate Yourself from Medical Mental Slavery Day celebration every April 30th. He was on, and he's well into his mid-70s and has lived a wonderful life, and he shared that information with our audience. And we had David Hurt, who brought it in from the astrological point of view, from the cosmos, and shared with us. And we had Chef Kidi Adua. He was on. And so we have given the physical, and now we want to talk about the mental equivalent to better help us with our physical. And that's why we have our special guest here, Manifest Raw. So we're going to take a station break, and we're going to come back and start the conversation with Manifest. Thank you all for tuning in to Heart2Heart Healthy Living with Dr. K. Okay, I think we said we have to. There we go. Are you at your wit's end because there seems to be no solution to your healthcare problem? Is it okay for me to say to you that you can have peace of mind? Take back control of your health. Are you experiencing anxiety, arthritis, diabetes, cancer, fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, lupus, chronic fatigue syndrome, any fictitious disease? Whatever your symptoms or diagnoses are, there is a conscious solution to transform the cause of your pain. Not treat symptoms or mask it. No prescription medication, no over-the-counter drugs, no organs removed are required. Take back control of your health by the renewing of your mind. You can create wellness today. Contact Dr. K, 202-248-7749. Visit us on the web, www.celllife.com. Yes. You are tuned into Heart2Heart Healthy Living with Dr. K. K, and my friends in the chat room is Rachel Pope and Wanda K. Whitaker, and we have Manifest Rod joining us this evening as we talk about black males' health and the mental equivalent. You know, that commercial talked about me saying, let go of your fictitious names for your diseases and create the life that you want. And that's what it's all about, the mental over the matter. And understanding that diseases are just names for cellular malfunctions that you can correct because you just created a self-organized breakdown in cellular productions, and you can correct that. We know about the material, and we want to add in the mental so we can get people on the right pathway to self-care. So I am a conscious self-healthcare educator and a NEST, Nutrienergetic System healthcare provider, providing you with services for self-care, for the care of your own human frame with the Nest Provision System. That's what I do. And this is what we share with you each and every Tuesday on Heart to Heart Healthy Living, how to take back control of your own health. Manifest Raw, I love him dearly. I'm not good at time frames, but I think I met Manifest about 10 years ago. And I've always been drawn to his energy, to his light, and there's no wonder that he has put out a little pamphlet called Love and Light is Our Birthright. So ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Manifest back to Heart Healthy Living, but not as a full segment with him on our show. So we're happy to have him here for this hour this time. So we're welcoming Manifest Raw, transformational speaker, life balance expert, a life balance expert, and he is the founder of Manifest Entertainment and the Universal Love Movement. Welcome, Manifest, and introduce yourself to our guests.
Well, first and foremost, we give thanks for this sacred gathering, for this opportunity to share love and light this evening, and I thank you as well, Dr. K, for this platform, as well as Wanda and Rachel as well, and all those who are listening. So it's just an honor and a privilege to be on the show this evening, to share and just be an empty vessel and channel instrument for the divine intelligence to flow through me, to resonate with all those who have an open mind, an open heart, and an open ear to listen. So, my name is Manifest Ra, and that's just a pleasure and honor to be here, Dr. K.
So good to have you here, Manifest. Wanda had already started off with a question earlier. I don't know if you was online, but she would love to know how your name was given to you. Did you give your name, and what does your name represent?
Great question. I would say in the year 99 or 2000, I believe the winter of 99 going into 2000, I was doing a fasting process for a couple of weeks. And mainly juice fast and just cleansing and purifying. And I also happened to be reading a book called Egyptian Yoga, The Philosophy of Enlightenment by Dr. Ashby. And during that time, that word manifest continued to come to me during that cleansing and purification process. And for those of us who are into metaphysics, particularly everyone on this call, that's a common name or term that we hear. And so I continued to hear that. But I also, and it kind of spoke to me in an even different way, a more, a more meaningful way. And I happened to be reading about Ra in that particular book. And it was an aha moment, Manifest Ra. I didn't quite understand, understand that exact time, but it was like a divine aha moment, like this name has special significance to you. And so it immediately came to me as one who brings forth divine love and light and wisdom, which, I give thanks, and I align with that to the best of my divine ability. But at that same time, I started my cultivation practice of Qigong. And so I didn't see the commonality between the two immediately. Later, maybe a year or two later, I realized that Qigong, of course, means energy cultivation or cultivating one's life force. And Manifest Ra, Ra is, as we know, is symbolized by the sun in Kemetic terminology and hieroglyphics. However, the deeper meaning of Ra simply means universal energy, the energy that pervades the entire cosmos or life force. So Manifest Ra and Qigong actually are synonymous. So it was no coincidence that I started Qigong practice or cultivation practice at the same time that that name chose me. Every day, every day I wake up, it's a reminder or an affirmation to cultivate the divine love and light within me and share that with humanity and the universe.
That was so beautiful, Manifest. Beautiful
Well, hey.
said, and I'm glad you mentioned the God Ra, and really what that means as far as universal light and energy that pervades everything and everyone. I want you to tell us a little bit about Qigong, though, and also about the meridians and what that means to the physical body and our whole essence, and weave that into what it means with healing ourselves.
Sure, great question. Qigong, Qi means energy, as I stated earlier, and Gong simply means to cultivate, practice, or refine. Gong is spelled in a few ways, G-O-N-G, but also K-U-N-G. And so we're very familiar with Kung Fu, or the martial arts practice, but Kung Fu in the Asian culture is not necessarily associated with martial arts. It's anything that you do over and over and over again, and you develop some level of proficiency. So if you're a good carpenter, a good speaker, they say you have good Kung Fu in that particular chosen field. But Qigong is known as energy cultivation, refining one's life force, the energy within them and around them for optimal health, for spiritual elevation, for enhanced relationships, productivity, for transformation. Now, when we talk about meridians, meridians are simply pathways that flow through the human body. And those pathways are very powerful in that they're connected to the organs as well as the energy centers in the body. And of course, from the organs, the primary organs that we're talking about are the heart, the lungs, the spleen, the kidneys, and the liver. And all of these organs, in an incredible way, influence or our thoughts and our, speaking of the mental aspect of this call here, our thoughts and our emotions influence our organs, and our organs influence our well-being and our productivity in life. So the pathways that flow through us, or the meridians, are connected to those organs as well as the energy centers. Now, in the yogic system, they're called chakras, and there's 7 of them. In the Qigong system, they simplified everything into 3s, and they're called dantians. And so those 3 dantians also, how can I say it, for the most part, align with those 7 chakras. You have the 3 lower dantians, the 3 lower chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, that govern our connection to the earth, our primal life force, our ability to give birth. Those are considered compacted into the lower dantian, our earth center in Qigong. The higher dantian, the middle dantian, which also corresponds to the heart chakra and the throat chakra, that would be considered the middle dantian, or the humanity center in Qigong. And then you have the upper dantian, which of course in the yogic system is the third eye. I'll call it the first eye because that's the one we see more and realize more than anything else. But the first eye, the brow, as well as the crown, that's considered our sky dantian, and those correspond to heaven, earth, and humanity. And so those pathways align with, open up those dantians, those which are considered fields, energy fields for transformation, elixirs, if you will, and also our organs. So you have a heart meridian, you have a lung meridian, spleen, kidney, gallbladder, and so forth and so on. And when one is aware of these pathways in the body, and they can facilitate the proper flow of energy, just imagine an ocean, if you will, the Atlantic Ocean or Pacific Ocean, and you become like a drop in the wave or the entire cosmos or the ocean itself. It's like riding with the entire universe flowing through you. Now, I know Dr. K doesn't like to use the word dis-ease, or, I like to look at it as energetic imbalances, and of course she looks at it as cellular malfunctions. That is a result of those meridians or those dantians being blocked. So hopefully I've given you a little insight into your question, Wanda.
Yeah, I like to call them energetic disturbances. Okay, Rachel, what do you have to say?
Oh, he really just tapped into where I was trying to take him to, pertaining to the mental state of consciousness. I noticed that he also specialized in do more with less, and I would like for him to embark on that especially for everyone to know that process, if he could tap into that for us.
Well, it's such a wonderful question to ask, Rachel. And again, your questions were wonderful as well, Wanda, and I'm sure Dr. K is going to bring some great questions as well. We are living in a time where we have a tremendous amount of technology, whether cell phones that you can basically chat with and see people on, and Skype on, and all these kinds of things, and you have all of these devices that increase the modes of communication, our ability to chat, listen, correspond with one another, and that's symbolic of the speeding up of light energy on the planet. Now, the same way we can communicate by phone and these devices, we can communicate with our own energy telepathically, and that is, how can I say it, that's heightened even more in this planetary transformational phase, where, if I'm thinking about somebody, I immediately pick it up. If they're in tune, if they have more of a clear and open channel. And so I say all that meaning that this is a time of tremendous energetic movement, busyness. And for so many people, it seems to be impossible to slow down, to not try to stay up till 12, 1, 2, or 3 o'clock every single night, to try to do 30 things on the to-do list. Multitasking, as we know, is something that, is very prominent in more industrialized societies. So we're living in a time where, with most people, their mantra is more is more. And so it's just like anything else. If you stay churning, or you keep the battery turning at all times, the battery eventually dies out. Nothing can continue on without resting at some point. You have that yin and yang ebb and flow, day and night, sun and moon. So you have that polarity or duality that makes up the oneness. And so we're living in a time now, to answer your question, Rachel, where everybody seems busy. And what I found is that one of the most productive ways to get things done is to simply align with the divine. Now, obviously, that sounds very cliche. Okay, where are you going with that? Manifest align with the divine. What I mean is that one of the first things we should do when we wake up in the morning is we should do some breathing exercise, or we should do some form of meditation, some form of stretching, something that connects us with our Creator, whether that's prayer, meditation, where we become that empty channel, that empty vessel. And when we do that, yes, we can put 10 or 15 things on the to-do list. However, we are simply riding that wave that I talked about 7 minutes ago, where we're not going against the grain like so many people. We're not going against the wave or the flow of the ocean. We're riding the universal ocean. So everything seems to take its natural course, and things magically seem to fall in place. All of us on this call and everyone listening, we've had those times in our lives where it seems like things just magically fell into place, whether it's for a job interview, a business we wanted to start, a relationship. We thought about something, and then maybe 10 minutes later, 10 seconds later, or a day later, we met that person. We had that circumstance come into our lives that we actually just thought about. And so that's what we call synchronicity. And so when we don't have those blockages in our being, if you will, we can get more done in a less amount of time without expending the same amount of energy. So to answer your question, there's certain Qigong practices we call, and there's a way of being called Wu Wei, or non-doing, or non-action creates action. And that sounds, kind of mystical, but it simply means don't go against the grain. If you have 10 things that you want to do today, Rachel, and the first two just don't seem to be coming into manifestation today, the first two things on your to-do list, step back, don't force it, if you will, align with the divine. Maybe number 6 on that to-do list, or 7, comes up. You know what I mean? You start talking to somebody on the phone, and before you know it, that person that you're talking to on the phone has the answer to 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, and 3 naturally falls into place. But if you just stay trying to focus on 1, 2, and 3 for the next 2 hours, you might not even get to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's just a overall view of what we call in terms of less is more. Simply align with the divine, and you'll always be at the right place at the right time.
Oh, yes, I like that. I love that, because I try to explain that to people. They seem to not catch it, but I love the way you just explained it down to the T, and I appreciate the answer. Dr. K?
Yes, I'm back.
I was about to bring in a caller. I was like, Wanda, you want to bring in this caller?
I'm back, community.
Okay.
I got dropped, retrograde, whatever you want to call it, but I said it was divine power of all this divine energy for this conversation that we have, and so I really don't know what was covered and what we talked about, but I'm pretty sure Manifest, you talk about Qigong and what you do with that. What we covered so far?
We covered the mentals part. I asked that question, pertaining to do more with less. What does he mean? But we have the caller 910 that's been hanging on for a while.
Okay.
And want to bring him in, so, or whoever it is, can you announce yourself? 910.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing, Sister Karen? It's just Sister Fatu. I'm just listening in.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening in. Thank you. Okay, I have to get my bearings back here.
Okay, that 202 hung up. That must have been somebody else.
Okay.
Okay, so the guests are clear. So you can continue your show.
Thank you very much, Miss Rachel Pope from Waldorf, Maryland. Manifest. I don't know what we covered, but did we cover your personal health care manifest? We are talking about black males' health, so did we cover how you care for your human being self?
Not yet. We briefly talked about Qigong, and of course, my name and how that chose me, and less is more, as Rachel said, but no, they laid a phenomenal foundation for where we're going with the call this evening, just on the nature of Qigong and overall my perspective on health and well-being. But I'd love to share about my own personal approach to well-being.
Wonderful, because I know you will incorporate the physical, spiritual, mental, the environment, and community, and how you care for yourself. And please continue.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things I am a major proponent of is the fact that we all are microcosms of the macrocosm, if you will. So we're clear that there's a universe or multiverse, but at that same point, but in that same way, we're a smaller universe, if you will. So in certain religious traditions, we heard the scripture, ye are all God's children of the Most High God. And that's my approach to well-being, is that everything that exists out there also exists within me. And so with that, there is no separation between me and the universe, me and Mother Nature, me and that tree that's right out in front of my building here. There's no separation between me and the food I'm eating, or the people that I'm speaking to. All is one. And so with that understanding that all is one, that breath I'm taking is not just my breath. if you will. When I inhale and I exhale, I'm also inhaling and exhaling for others that are in my immediate environment. My thoughts are not my own thoughts. My emotions are not my own emotions. Everything in life is connected. And so with that, I rise every morning. Well, one of the first things I try to do is I try to go to bed at a pretty good time, not try to stay up too late. And in this busy society, that's something that we all do occasionally. However, you know, everything starts in the darkness and comes to light. Just like, you know, scientists have recently discovered that everything in our universe, or our master universe, came out of a black void or black hole, if you will. And that also can be symbolic of the black woman giving birth to all of humanity. So going to bed at night at a good time and doing the things necessary to cultivate my energy prior to going to bed, disconnecting from the internet by a decent hour and at least maybe 30 minutes before I go to sleep, so I'm not taking those electromagnetic stimulated vibrations into my sleep consciousness. You know, disconnecting from all things prior to going to bed, taking some deep breaths, if you will, to align with my true core. Then, you know, once I get a good night's sleep and a rejuvenating slumber, wake up in the morning, I give thanks in the morning. I always rise and shine with some Qigong exercises. Anything from stretching to exercises for my heart and my kidneys, or perhaps for that particular day it might be more mental, where I'm just sitting and doing some Malabi Qigong meditation, where I'm just calming my mind and preparing it for the remainder of the day. So it's very important every morning for me, and I would say everyone listening, to start your day with some form of ritual that aligns you with the divine, that cleanses, purifies, strengthens, and fortifies you with divine intelligence, if you will. Before you leave the house, you know, like American Express, you say, don't leave home without fortifying and aligning with the divine. And so with that, I do probably about 30 to 45 minutes of Qigong, depending on the day. Perhaps I have more time. I always do me a juice, some form of smoothie or live juicing in the morning to flush my system out. Even before I do that, actually, I also do warm lemon or lime water to actually get things moving in my body and, how can I say it, eliminating those things that need to be let go from the day before. And all of that takes place even before 12 noon. You know what I mean? So you're talking about my temple, my vehicle, my instrument has been cleansed, purified, and fortified even before 12 noon. And so from that point on, my day is very energetically balanced, blessed, and abundant. So I'm just giving you a snapshot of what that looks like. I also always try to do eat foods that are healthy, that are nurturing and nourishing of my being. Very minimal with any type of processed food, anything of that nature. And the more live and whole foods, the better. And also throughout the day, I'm breathing. I'm mindfully breathing when, I find it necessary, letting go of that which needs to be let go of, and inhaling life. That simple process of being mindful of one's breath can neutralize and prevent and eliminate all stress. I'm going to say that again. By developing some level of mastery, or I would even say proficiency over your breathing, you can eliminate, prevent, and all stress. Because at the core of yoga, Qigong, Tai Chi, these mind-body modalities, is breathing. Mm-hmm. And I don't care what anyone says. So by simply breathing throughout the day mindfully, that area that's called the lower dantian, or also known as the solar plexus, and extends down to the root, particularly the solar plexus, 70 to 80%, Dr. Kane, I know you already know this, 70 to 80% of our immune system is located right there at the center, where we breathe throughout the day. So when we consciously focus our awareness there periodically throughout the day, we're strengthening our immune system. And just by that simple mindful practice. And so those are some of the things I do to fortify and strengthen myself daily.
Yes. Well, Manifest, in actuality, that is the pattern that I believe that one should take in supporting the human frame, in supporting this human body. And I'm so thankful that you started with the night before, because it's important of how you go to bed, how you go to sleep, how you lay your body down. Have you disconnected yourself from, detached yourself from the waves of the world and all your connections to all this high definition frequency and vibration, and clearing your energy field, your human body field, so it can let go of these distortions and blockages and send the proper information into the cells while you sleep, while the body heals itself. And when you wake up and come back into the world in the morning, it's important how you wake up and how you start your day. And to understand that there is no separation, as you said, that everything is interrelated, everything is interconnected, that we're all one. And so you're always one with this energy, this source energy, this life energy, this black hole, this energy where we draw upon and we create thought forms from. You know, we always one with that. And when you wake up and you recognize that, you're going to start your day off in such a happy feeling, because when you're happy, your cells are happy and your body performs well. So when you wake up in the morning, you want to know that you have that connection. And when you allow your body to cleanse, like you said, to start off with some water, you know, to sit back and relax and just focus within yourself and start your day the way you want to start your day. You are in control of all of this. And one thing that I think that we might want to consider as one of our choice points questions is, why are you allowing external forces to dictate to you how you move about in this world? You are the creator of everything. It is mind over matter. You are moving this physical body. And as you say, the breath is the number one thing. You come into this world with a breath. You activate the tree of life with this breath. The tree of life is what keeps this, the breath is what keeps this tree of life moving and circulating all the waste throughout the body, your lymphatic system. And the only way that system works at its optimum is through the way you breathe. And breath is the number one thing that we must do, because that's oxygen. And as you said, the foods that we eat should be pure oxygen, pure water, pure light, pure information. That's what the cells generate from, not from the heavy foods that man call food. Because it's not food. And we have to get in control of it. This body runs off of minerals. Every herb from the earth that it grows from, that's what this body needs to perform its job. If not, we create cellular malfunctions. They call them a disease. And then you feel like you have no control over anything when you're the one that's creating it all. What are you believing? It's like you said, when we come into this world, we come into this world a blank slate. And we are learned all of this information. And all of this information can be unlearned. And that's what this show is all about, creating the mental equivalent. If you don't like what you see in your life, how your body is performing, the only way that it's going to correct itself in the reality of reality is through your consciousness.
Ooh.
Ashe.
Ashe. Yeah.
So, you know, we have to look at it and we have to take back our responsibility. And, you know, and that's what Emancipate Yourself from Medical Mental Slavery Day is all about, every April 30th. And I'm thankful that when the universe and energies came to me and said, create this day, and I really didn't want to do it, and I couldn't understand it because I was already telling people to bury disease thinking. I thought that was enough right there for the past 20 years, telling people to bury disease thinking. Now you're telling me to tell them to emancipate themselves from medical mental slavery. You know, we told them to emancipate from mental slavery years ago. But I understood why they said put medical in there. Because when you put medical in there, when you own your own body, when you take ownership of your own body, nobody can do anything to you. Nobody can do anything to you when you take ownership that you are the one that creates the cellular malfunctions, not diseases, that you can correct them. You don't have to follow that belief system. And so when he said create this day, I was like, wow, I got to create this day. But I understood why, because the medical, mental part of it, to own your own body. And it was quick. It was like I had to do it at a certain time. And I called Manifest Rob, and I called my sister Ivy, Reverend Dr. Ivy Hilton. I say, I got to do this day. I don't know why, but I just got to do it. And can we just do it? Got to be done on April 30th. And you were there. And you helped me introduce this day to the community. And I definitely thank you for that, Manifest Raw, and all the years that you have supported Emancipate Yourself from Medical Mental Slavery Day.
Well, hey, I thank you, Dr. K. And we talk about liberation. Oftentimes we speak of a political perspective or in sovereignty, and all that's good and well. However, how can I say, the most pronounced or the most important perspective of liberation we can embrace is spiritual and mental liberation. And when we talk about liberation, we talk about being free of all these things that weigh and hold us down from aligning with our divine potential as the reflection of the Most High. And so eating the wrong food, a belief in disease, as you eloquently state so often, is turning your well-being over to someone else to prescribe or describe or whatever, diagnose something for you. All of these things, you give up your own divine intelligence, your own ability to fortify your own being and to be the embodiment of optimal health and higher consciousness. So liberation, emancipation, emancipate yourself from medical and mental slavery is such an important movement, and I'm happy to be on that train. I'd like to also, while we're on this call, of course, say a few things about black men in particular, just in terms of, I guess, what is going on with black men in the arena of health and wellness, if I can say so, Dr. K.
Yes, you can. We do have a caller on the line. I don't know if they're just listening in. 202
Sure.
area code. Are you just listening in, or did you want to make a comment before Manifest continues?
No, I wanted to make a comment. This is Mama Ayo Handy Candy. How you folks doing?
Yeah,
I'm so
Hello.
thankful to hear you both on this show talking about men's health, and I'm so thankful that you both are certified as breathologists and that you all are identifying so many of our health issues as issues that are relative to our limited oxygen that can be hopefully impacted by better ways of breathing. But one of the studies we found out that black men have had to be really challenged with is the issue of racism. We are all affected by racism, but black men in particular are tremendously targeted in a racist way. And therefore that means they're holding their breath quite a bit out of fear and trauma because there's a lot of stress related to racism. There was an actual study done that shows how impacted black men in particular are. So Manifest, what would you suggest for black men, and especially young black men, and how they can handle the social castration that racism brings into their life, and how racism then affects their health? And I'll get off the line and listen to your answer.
Thanks so much, Dr. Ayo, Mama Ayo. That's a phenomenal question. One of the most important things we can do as beings on this planet, spiritual beings, having a human experience, and particularly black men, since that's the focus of this part of the program, is to have a healthy identity, self-identity. What are we looking at when we look in the mirror? What are we affirming every single day, 24/7, 365 in our subconscious? And as a young black man, as a middle-aged black man, or as an elder black man, black men of all ages, we must embrace the healthiest, the highest form of self-identity possible. And oftentimes we associate with one another using the N-word, if you will. Now, on the opposite end of that spectrum is God or divine intelligence, seeing oneself as a child of God, or ye are all God's children of the Most High God, acknowledging that you are God in human manifestation, if you will, or that you are a sage man or a divine man. And when you have that understanding, Mama, Dr. Ayo, your interpretation of who you are is totally different. as opposed to the N-word. Now, of course, we know what the N-word represents: someone who's lazy, trifling, non-productive, all those things. And we've even, and I would even say this, that a lot of our lack of productivity as a people is still tied into that word. You know, it's almost, a lot of our people are addicted to using that word. In other words, when you have any form of addiction, whether it's food addiction, drug, alcohol, sex, pornography, whatever it is, you start to make excuses for why you do stuff. You know what I mean? Well, you know, I just do it sometimes. It really doesn't mess with me. And I can cope with it, and I can do it on the weekends, or I can do it a few times a day, or whatever. And you see that person is not really productive and not accomplishing what they need to do in life, whatever that vice or that bad habit is. We have been addicted to the N-word, everything that comes with that, and we even use it as a term of endearment. And the only reason I'm focusing on that for a few minutes is because when you align with anything that is opposite of divine intelligence as a black man or the black woman, if you will, you abdicate, you give up all of your inherent power to manifest and to be a light of transformation on this planet, if you will. And every single day, black men, I would say even a vast majority of us, are affirming the worst aspects of our human potential every single day by looking in the mirror, calling ourselves the N-word, calling our brothers and sisters the N-word. And so when we talk about transcending racism and all the trappings, whether it's police brutality, lack of history, all those things, as a black man that has any understanding of who he is, affirm that you are divine intelligence, that you are a God within the Most High God, that you are a sage man, or the divine man. And through that daily affirmation, you find ways. That's your subconscious. You align with ways that help you manifest and transcend stress and to get beyond the perceived limitations of whatever anybody else sets for you. So you look at life totally different when you sit down in front of somebody, whether they are Caucasian, Latino, black, whatever. You have no inferiority complex. You have no fear of going in for that job interview or explaining your business to anyone on the planet, because you understand that who you are is divine intelligence in human form. And so when we talk about breathing, then your whole approach to life, to procreation, to relationships, to whatever your path is, or whatever you're here to do, is totally different. So I would say the most important thing that we can do is have the proper identity of who we are as black men. And who we are, we're God. I'm not saying we are the God, the end all, the be all, but we are a manifestation of, a representation of, we are God on earth. And when we align with that, there's nothing that can stand in our way of manifesting and transforming whatever we want, whether it's ourselves, our children, helping our women, our community, and the planet itself.
Wow, Manifest, that was so divinely expressed and shared and wonderful that you identified it with identifying yourself, your true self, or who you are. And that's what we're talking about, the mental equivalent. You have to know who you are. You create in your life through your mental capacity. So you must see who you are as a divine being, not the material flesh that you see. You are greater than that. You are more than that. And that consciousness is what moves this physical body about. The connection between the soul self and the human self comes from the breath. The breath of life is everything. Oxygen equals pumps, equals electricity, equals power. That's why all the healing arts work to support you with this manifested body. So it's not to look at anything external and give that more power over to you. You decide what you're going to align with in society. You decide how you're going to have your human being express itself in society. Why would you want to continue to give your power over to a material world that you are creating? So you're really not at fault. No one is at fault. You are creating it, so you love it. And you thank the gift that it's giving you to recognize, again, your divine self, that you can shift this energy and turn any circumstances around just by the mental equivalent. One of the books that I share with individuals that come to me for support, because I'm a conscious self-healthcare educator, and we're going to go back to the mental always before we get to the physical, because that's what lines the physical. So one little book that I share with people is the mental equivalent, and that's what we're talking about here tonight, the mental equivalent. And I just want to share this one statement from Emmett Fox, this book, The Mental Equivalent, this little pamphlet by Emmett Fox, and he said, if children could be taught only one thing, if we had to teach children one thing, they should be taught that this is a mental world. I will let all other things go and teach them this one thing. We are taught a belief system of separation. And the universal movement, multidimensional energy now has shifted. And the resistance that you're having with everything is because you're resisting yourself. It's time to align with your true self now so you can move through life with fluidity, flowing, no stagnation, no blockages, because the mental controls the outer. Don't give power to anything that man has created to keep you in an illusion of separation from yourself through racism or any other aspect out there. You are in control of this divine being. And that is what this show is all about. That is what self-care movement of healthcare is all about. When you align with that, you are able to better care for your physical body. The physical body is true, right, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes.
If you give it this denatured food, it will move slow and sluggish, because the body wants the minerals and the nutrition from the food, and you cannot get it from anything in a package, anything in the store. So you slow this physical body down. And the first area that is slowed down is the brain. Your mind is not inside your brain. Your mind is in every living cell in your body, but your consciousness is what's governing that. And so it's time to get a new mindset so we can regulate our bodies. Our mind is not in our body, so you can't even have a mental disorder. That's the biggest illusion out there. Emancipate yourself from medical mental slavery.
Ashe, ashe, ashe.
If I can jump right in there, and thank you so much for expressing all of that. So accurate, Dr. K. One of the things that is such a challenge for black men and black people in general is that we have been stuck in the self-preservation mode of human activity. I'll simplify it into three modes. You have self-preservation, self-actualization, and self-realization. Self-preservation kind of corresponds to the lower dantian or the lower chakras, where you just have a need to survive, for security, for procreation, those kinds of things. Self-actualization is closer, higher up food chain, if you will, where you have an opportunity to express what's on your true heart's desire, to live in alignment with your purpose, to feel, to really connect on the heart level. Self-realization is truly being one with all that is, to have higher levels of enlightenment, so forth and so on. So when a people have been captured in the bondage, to the degree that we were, and we continue to go through levels of how can I say it, not just slavery, but all kinds of harsh treatment in this country here. There's a flight or fight syndrome that we seem to always be in. You know what I mean? If you see other people when you go into their restaurants, they seem very happy. Like the happy song is naturally happy to see folks from other communities when you go into their restaurants or their towns, DuPont Circle, Eastern Market around D.C. and other places around the country. They seem so happy. How you doing, ma'am? How you doing, sir? Come on in, let me take your order, so forth and so on. When you go into many of our communities where there is not just a dysfunction from that generation, it's intergenerational, it goes back to all the things that we've been experiencing 30, 40 years ago, even slavery in this country. There is a tendency to just try to survive. And when you're always just trying to survive, you never have an opportunity to thrive. So you have to change that whole understanding and that alignment, and you have to move from just trying to survive and say, okay, I am that divine intelligence. I am that being that can change my reality with my thought. I can start my own business. It's not just about putting food on the table for the next 40, 50 years of my life, just trying to get a check to get by every single month. No, okay, I have a reason for being for myself, for my family, for my kids, my children, for my lovers, my community, and humanity. And that is what black men have been lacking, is that we've been so much just trying to survive. We haven't really aligned with our divine being and the higher faculties of our being, which creates all kinds of dysfunctions, energetic imbalances, and cellular malfunctions. If you look at prostate cancer, which is a big part of black community, a lot of that is because we've been stuck in the root chakra and the sacral chakra with our activity. We haven't been able to open up our heart and our third eye, if you will, level. So all of our energy has been stuck down there just trying to survive. And that's why when you look at black men, a lot of times they see a nice sister, and for the next 5 or 10 minutes, that's all their conversation is about. You know what I mean? Whereas if you look at other men from other cultures, they might acknowledge the beauty of a woman, but they have a mission, they have a mindset, they're going to work, they're going to create a business, they're going to create some program, and that's their activity. Where brothers are oftentimes, for the next 10 or 15 minutes, we're holding our pants talking about what we just saw, if you will. We got to come up out of just trying to survive in the lowest chakras, and we got to thrive.
That's it, Manifest, and you said it very eloquently. But one word I'm going to throw in there with that survival is struggle. As long as you keep using the word struggle, we got to struggle for this, we struggling for that, let's struggle, you will be struggling, because you will always create the mental equivalent of what's in your thoughts. What you say is what you will create. So if you don't want to struggle, stop struggling. Stop saying the word struggle, because that gives off a vibration, a frequency. That frequency goes into your cells and it sends your cells in chaos. And the cells cannot perform the way they should. It's all in what you think and what you speak and what you create, that vibration. You cannot see it as an undertone. It's a vibration that's creating everything. And so you really, really have to be careful of what you're saying out of your mouth and what you're thinking. And Lord knows what you're imagining, because that's how everything is really created. You really got to be careful what you imagine in mind. Manifest, this has been a wonderful conversation. Rachel and Wanda, I know we haven't had opportunities. We ought to say much. We're coming up on the closing of the show. And Manifest, before we leave, I don't know if you gave people how to reach you. I don't know if that happened when I wasn't online, but please give your website. I definitely want people to know about the Universal Love Movement meetings that we have monthly here in D.C. So in closing, can you share that information with the audience so they can reach you?
Sure. You can reach me 202-746-4537. Again, 202-746-4537. One more time, 202-746-4537. You can go to my website, manifestraw.com, www.manifestra.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter. And Dr. K, Wanda, Rachel, it's been a divine pleasure and honor to be on the call with you. Representations of the divine feminine, of the goddess, the God energy in feminine form. And, hopefully as an empty vessel, the universe brought some insights through me that made sense.
It made more than sense, and we're going to continue this conversation, too. Wanda, in closing, you want to share something?
I just want to say, in closing, is change your thoughts and you change your reality. Everybody
it's simple as that.
Rehash all of what was said.
Yeah.
Know thyself. Know that you are who you are. I am that I am.
And that's it.
Divine.
Pulling pants up past that lower chakra, and everything will rise up. Rachel.
I just want to say that from this conversation, I want the men and women, the boys and girls, to know that they are queens and kings, and don't you forget it, because you are the one and only I am that I say I am. You are that.
I'm telling you. This has been a great conversation. It's all about the mental equivalent. Know that you are creating it. Know that the universe is mental. Manifest got away because he know I wanted him to do that mental. The universe is mental poem. And I know we don't have 3 minutes left for you to do that poem, but I definitely wanted it to be a part of this conversation. But in closing, I want to give honor to a gentleman by the name of Larry from out of Texas who He was actually put a video on Facebook where he was just throwing all his medication in the trash, where he's moved forward since working with myself and Dr. Yu. And he's talking all about the psychiatry industry of being told for the past 2 years that he had a mental ailment. And now he understands himself greater than that. And so we honor Larry, and we're going to be honoring him this year at Emancipate Yourself from Medical Mental Slavery Day, along with others. This day is for the community. So please go to my website, go to GoFundMe.com, be a part of this day. If you know someone that should be honored, we would love to honor their walk from disease care to conscious self-health care. And we do invite you to come on board our friendship train to healthcare freedom, because family and community is all about love. Love is all there is, and we are all one, and you must get happy. Let the happy vibrations go through your body no matter what. It's not what it looks like. Just say to yourself, it's not what it looks like. And I like myself. I love myself. I like myself. Fake it until you make it. That's what Reverend Ike said. Tell your mind what to think. Tell your feelings what to feel. And tell your body what to do, because you are in control of it all. We love Inner Light Radio. Brother Jamal, thank you so much. Wanda, Rachel, callers and listeners. We did have some questions that I didn't get to that came in, but know that we love you and we appreciate you, and tune in to Heart to Heart Healthy Living with Dr. K next Tuesday. Mama Ayo, thank you for calling in. The Sage and Baby Boomer Show every Thursday. Yes, we're rocking in D.C. and we're making everybody happy and healthy.
I know that.
My sisters and brothers, oh yes it is. I said harmony is the key. My sisters and brothers. People, we can't wait, 'cause another day might be. Come on, get on the friendship train. Everybody, take a hand, take a hand.
Greetings, family. We had a great time today on Heart to Heart Healthy Living with Dr. K. Thank you so much for tuning in, getting happy, getting healthier. So we invite you to tune in next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Inner Life Radio, the healing frequency. It is time to get happy, to be healthy, and live the life that you want to live. Tune in again next week. Heart to Heart Healthy Living with Dr. K. And we also invite you to tune into the Saging Baby Boomer Show with Mama Ayo Handy Kendi. That's every Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on InnerLightRadio.com, the healing frequency. It's all about love, family, and community. Love is all there is, and we are one.